And welcome back to Littles by Lira. I hope you're having a fantastic day and thank you for watching. I am so excited. Today we are going to make a DIY tassel maker and bow maker in one. Now I've seen these online and they're quite expensive. I highly recommend you try this because if you can't make either of those without major problem, do this. It's so great. I am so excited, you guys. To start, I took a Dollar Tree plunger, took the little plunger part off and cut it down so that it was approximately 9 inches, including the threads that you would thread the plunger onto. After I got that taken care of, I went through and I marked my plunger every inch in between. So coming up from the bottom at 1.5 inches and then every inch up to the top, leaving the top 1.5 inches empty. Next, I took one of the Dollar Tree plaques that you can get, the wood ones in the Crafter Square section, and I'm just taking a ruler to draw a light X across so that I can find my center. You don't have to do the X like I do. I just, for this, I kind of prefer it to be as easy to do as possible, because once you get this thing made, you're good to go and make a bajillion things. I began, once I found my center, and took a drill and just pre-drilled a small hole where the center was, as you can see here. And then I took a spade bit, 3/4 of an inch, and drilled out the center hole. This was a lot of fun. I've never used a spade bit before, so even if you don't make this product, I highly recommend just trying the spade bit because it bores out the hole super fast and it's just neat. And of course, you know, freshly drilled wood always smells pleasant. As you can see here, it'll leave a little hole down at the bottom. That's okay. You can fill it in with wood putty if you need to, but this is the base. You're never gonna see it. It splintered a little bit, so I took my Dollar Tree sanding block and just sand down the top so that it's nice and smooth. And as you can see here, the Dollar Tree plunger threads in there very nicely and very tightly. If you hear me sniffling, as always, I apologize. It's still, as always, allergy season. Here I'm taking the plunger. Now I unthreaded it from the hole because it's easier to work on a flat surface. And I took my miter box so I'd have something to grip against when I was pre-drilling my small holes before I went in to drill the larger holes. This just keeps your wood from splintering or splitting and having to start all over again. As you can see here, once that hole is drilled, I just take one of my barbecue skewers, the big ones from the Dollar Tree. You can also use a dowel or even a pencil to make sure that it fits in the hole. Once I've confirmed that all the holes have been properly drilled and are nice and big enough, I go ahead and sand it down because you don't want splinters or anything. Next, I took a pencil eraser. And unfortunately, being a southpaw, I tend to push a little too hard with the pencil. So unfortunately, my pencil eraser or my pencil marks didn't completely erase. Try to sand it down a little bit. That didn't work either. You can paint these out if you like. I wouldn't recommend painting the dowels themselves just because you don't want any flakes of old paint getting onto your ribbons or tassels. So there's that. It's your choice. Next, I took some dog nail cutting scissors and cut my barbecue skewers down, I think, to 4 inches. And then I got a grab bag of wood beads from Amazon. I think in total for 500 beads, it was like $12. They're easy to find. Or if you have just beads laying around, you can use clay beads, whatever you like. I took some Tite Bond wood glue, found at Walmart, put a little bit on there, and just secured my bead at the pointy part. Now, obviously, there is only one pointy part on a barbecue skewer, so I took a pencil sharpener and just sharpened the tip. This just lets me seat my beads on more securely. Trying to wood glue a round bead to a flat end is not super easy, and in my opinion, it's not super stable. So I recommend the pencil sharpener trick. Or if you've got the big fat skewers, just cut off 2 pointy parts. Next, you see here, I'm putting some wood glue onto the threads of the plunger, and this will just make a permanent hold once I get it in there. If you want to make this so you can take it apart when you're not using it, just don't put the wood glue on there. But I have a dedicated crafting space. God has blessed me richly with that. And so I can leave it up at all times and just grab it as I need it. So once that is nicely seated, I grab a baby wipe and just wipe off the excess glue that drips out. You know, for aesthetic reasons, it's just prettier that way. And I let it dry. Again, with the sniffles, guys, I really am sorry. So there we have it. That's basically the tassel bow rig in a nutshell. Super easy, super quick, incredibly affordable. I want to say $2 and some change because you don't use all of the skewers. So here you go. Ready to see it? This is it. Now you might be thinking, well, that's not much to look at. But wait, there's more. Let's see it in action. Okay, so I'm going to start with some Dollar Tree twine. And this is how I make a tassel. I wrap the twine around the sticks. Obviously, this is going to be a 2-inch tassel. Wrap it around 20 times, and I just took a binder clip to hold it in place while I did the extra tying. I cut off a length, maybe about 6 inches, maybe 4 of the twine. I'm going to thread it through the empty space and tie a knot. Once that knot is nice and secure, I will cut off the extra tails. Like that. And I put the knot to the inside and slide it up to the top of the bow maker. This will be the hanging part of the tassel. Then I take some more of the same twine and tie a nice secure knot up at the top, and this will make the tassel. You can wiggle the pegs out if you like, or just slide it off. I'm showing in these instructional tutorials how to do both. Once you get it pulled off, get your tails nice and straight down, do a snip, do a little haircut, and you got yourself a little tassel. I'm so pleased. Let me just tell you. For this, I'm just going to make a little twine bow. I put my skewers 1 inch apart, and I'm just going to wrap the twine around about 4 times, maybe 5. You don't need the binder clip if you don't want it. It kind of got in the way on this one because they're so close together. And then I take the twine, tie it in a knot, kind of centered, double knotting to make sure it stays in place. And fluff it out, and you've got yourself an adorable little twine bow. Oh, obviously cut off your little extra raggedy ends. Ta-da! All right, so let's do a ribbon, a bow. I've got some, I think it's 1 inch blue satin ribbon. It's Offray brand. It's either Walmart or Dollar Tree. I secure it with a little bit of hot glue to the middle and wrap it around, and then take the other middle, so the other end, and secure it to the middle. I've got some really thin blue satin ribbon, which I'm fairly certain is Walmart this time, and to tie a knot in the center, like so. Trim off the tails of that, I think it's like 1/8 or 1/16 inch ribbon, like that. And you can leave it like that if you like, but I wanted to have some tails to my bow. So I just twisted it and put it into a V shape, making sure that the shiny part of the satin was facing forward, and hot glued it to the back. This also works for the large ribbons, as you can see here. This was 3-inch. This was one of the really pretty fall ribbons that Dollar Tree put out this year. I was so impressed with the ribbons they had. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. So once I got that into place, nice and secured with some hot glue, little dot. And then I realized with these wire-edged ribbons, it's probably a good idea not just to do the center, do the outside edges as well. That way when you put your knot in the middle, it doesn't like poke up on either side. I wanted to make this a multi-textured ribbon, so I grabbed some Dollar Tree lace and realized, hey, you nerd, you twisted it. So while the hot glue was still drying, I pulled it off and put it onto the way it should be so that everything lies nice and flat. I took a little bit of twine, and see, here's where I realized, oh, I should probably glue down the sides of the wired ribbon because it likes to poke out. Live and learn, kids. Live and learn. So, grab some hot glue, a little bit on either side. Oh, if it sounds like I'm in a wind tunnel in here, it's a fairly warm day where I live, so the fan is on. I apologize. But here you go. So, pulled it off, made sure everything was good to go, found where my center was, and just tied the bow into place, or, well, into shape, rather, with the twine. And you got yourself a lovely, big, fluffy bow. Oh, I'm so pleased with this, guys. After I trimmed the ends off, I gave it some tails with a little bit more ribbon. Again, twisting and making sure that everything was facing in the correct direction. And then hot glued a button on front and hot glued my tails in the back. Couldn't be easier. So what are you thinking? Is this fun or is this fun? I am just mind blown. I'm so excited. I can hardly even stand it. It also makes a nice little hanger when you're doing other stuff to keep your bow from getting swiped by, scary, murderous cats who like to steal your craft projects while you're in the middle of making them. So, hey, there's that too. All these functions. Oh my goodness, so much. Little butterfingers there, but that's okay because it's all going to work out and be amazing. Ta-da! Oh, it's just so cute. Oh, I love it. I hope it doesn't sound terribly egotistical of me, guys. I'm very proud of this. God gave me a great idea, and we ran with it, and I hope you enjoy it. Next, I'm going to take some more wired ribbon. This was at the Walmart clearance section after Christmas last year. I think it's 1.5 inches, and it is wired. It doesn't have to be. But I made sure to get 3 loops of the ribbon onto the dowels before tying it into place. And then I just took a piece of that ribbon, folded it over on itself 3 times to make a center for the bow, and knotted it, and then began to pull the ribbon pieces apart so that it becomes a 3-bowed bow. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I gotta look up new bows to try. I'm thinking I might do just a quick little insert on another video. Just a quick, hey, here's 2 minutes of your life to watch making a big fluffy wreath bow. But there you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great week. Bye.